My got this shirt back on. It's been a hot minute since I wore something like this, and I don't know. I just think it fits to the SCP vibe, you know. I like the font is very much like good old 80s rock font, and yeah, it just fits to the stream. I also found out there's a fucking writing and reading category. I should have known. Because I was like, there's no way with how big Twitch is that there's not a whole category that is about writing or reading stories. Because the whole time I always used this just chatting thing, because I was like, because whenever I gave in reading, it would just show me like other stuff, like reading fun and games that have the reading in the title and stuff like that. I just could not find a reading category by itself, but then I'm writing and reading, I was like, oh yeah, duh. Makes sense. So that's what I'm using now. Well, to be fair, who the fuck goes to Twitch for reading? Well, except I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of Twitch streamers that have like a really good voice that just go like, hey guys, I'm just gonna read this book out loud because it helps me get a book done. And some people are like, I like your voice. It's the same people who like listening to ASMR, I would say, who like, yeah, I just want to listen to your voice because it soothes me, it comforts me. I would say some people would do it. Want to hear something good? I've come up with others. Wait, I've come up with other things to say about the SCP for today as well. He's evolving. Mechanic is evolving. All right, guys, let's get started, shall we? Our first author. There was no author page to be found, or at least no author page link. I should specify that because Cosabone has found an author's page once from one that I thought didn't have one. So there's no page. There was no link for this one, but the author is called Blimey. Blimey, and they wrote Specialized Containment Proficiency Test, which is SCPT. So let's read this, huh? My friend who works with speech and big words have helped me. Is your friend Stephanie? Because Stephanie, they are a speech therapist. Maybe you should ask them. Speaking of Steph, let me ask them if they can participate. Can you join today? Let's see here. All right. Once again, let's read Specialized Containment Proficiency Test. Here we go, guys. Upper class, pending O5 review. Oh, that's new. We never had a pending O5 review. That's interesting. Also, I need to remind me, guys, that I need to do like the opposites of these, like, you know, the flipped version. Once we finish reading this one, because for this Steam Deck, I don't have that yet. Special containment procedures. In the interest of maintaining the highest level of security relating to SB3030, access to information pertaining to SB3030 is to be restricted to Site 56 personnel and those with level 4 or higher security clearance. All level 3/3030 or lower staff are to be administered a Class B amnestic and have replacement memories been planned before any transfer off-site. I would have loved it was actually a Class C amnestic, because like we can see there's always like a theme with number 3. Actually, no, never mind. It's only at level 3. If they did like a theme of level 3, like Site 33, level 3, or level 3/3030, and then Class C because that's the third alphabet in order. Oh well, any breach of information regarding SB3030 is to be immediately reported to both Site Director David and the O5 Council. All testing involving SCP-3030 is to be approved by Site Director Davids and 3 members of the O5 Council. As such, no input is to be provided to -1 terminals without proper approval. Any unauthorized personnel discovered on site are to be detained for interrogation and anesthetized before release. Yeah, that sounds different pending than, damn, the Foundation unsure. Yeah, like the Foundation's like, we don't know what to do with this one. We don't know what to do. We don't know what to say. To facilitate the effective containment of SCP-3030, All unaffected facilities within Site 56 are currently have been upgraded and retrofitted to house a small military complement, MTF-0 honor students, and double the security detail station before Incident 3030 Alpha. Surviving staff previously stationed at Site 56 are allowed to remain on site for research purposes, while to be provided a full amnestic treatment if transferred. As per the Order of O5, and any anomalous objects discovered that have not been subsumed within SCP-3030 are to be recovered and moved off-site. And Site 56 is to be considered provisional to the containment of SCP-3030 until further notice. Okay, yeah, it really does sound like they kind of like just are throwing anything at it just to see what the hell how the hell to contain it, what to do with it. So what's the containment class? We're unsure. Isn't that like your job? Honestly, that would be me if I was a Foundation after reading every single SCP and then coming to like finding a new one. It's like, so what's the containment class? They're like, we don't know. I'm like, pardon? Shouldn't you know? You've been here longer than me. You should know this. At least I know that I would be classified as classed as safe. Yeah. Or maybe you'd be classed as Thormeal because you are such a good guinea pig that you keep other SCPs in check. When -1 becomes active, MTF-0 is to be immediately dispatched to attempt initial containment on all instances of -3. Any available MTF unit with applicable expertise as well as MTF-4 debuggers is to be put on standby for assistance as needed. Man, we have honor students, debuggers, like they have like, that's like complete opposite sides. I feel like. If the situation is not resolved within 60 hours, any units remaining on standby are to be immediately dispatched to contain instances of -3, and MTF-4 is to prepare to enact Procedure 87 but in the case of total containment failure. The Foundation will be like, hey mechanic, come over there and can you find out if SCP-3030 is dangerous or not? Senior researcher, well there are gaps in my knowledge, okay, don't judge me. There shouldn't be! Senior researcher, there shouldn't be any gaps. How are we supposed to rely on you? Description. SCP-3030 is a designation attributed to a number of anomalies and anomalous objects residing within Site 56 since the events of Incident 3030 Alpha. Formerly Site 56 was a dedicated research and containment site that specialized in quickly drafting and implementing complex containment procedures for powerful anomalies. Few objects were contained on site and most objects were routinely moved to the other sites to make room for new objects and controlled environment testing. Wait a minute, -1 is an anomalous supercomputer currently located within -2C. Okay, so that explains why debuggers are part. Oh, debuggers are part of the containment procedure. -2C, in addition to its electronic components, -1 contains 100, I guess, Foundation researchers which have been integrated into the system who poorly understood means. The supercomputer just like absorbed Foundation members? Yeah, no wonder there's a pending class. The guy who knew what kind of class it's supposed to be got sucked up. Investigations into the well-being of these researchers ongoing. It is unlikely that they will be recoverable outside of -1's terms. -1 is the main source of anomalous activity within Site 56 and it's currently physically inaccessible due to the several complex spatial anomalies that it maintains through unknown means. Once monthly or whenever data is input to one of its terminals within Site 56, -1 will generate an arbitrary number of anomalies hereafter referred to as -3 and output brief data on them to all of its terminals. And then we have like 2 footnotes in a row. The number has one footnote that says currently amounts have ranged from 4 to 18 anomalies at once. That's way too many. And then with terminals, there's a footnote that says data provided is usually 1 to 3 sentences long. Typically it describes what sort of test the anomaly is intended to provide to contain personnel. And then third footnote, There are approximately 130 terminals throughout Site 56, 11 of which are outside of Dash 2. Within 3 hours, real versions of all the scrapped instances of Dash 3 will appear within Dash 2, and Dash 1's terminal will begin a 3-day countdown. Oh, fuck. I can't believe there's using a Kirby computer mechanic begins using the Kirby. It is a Kirby, like... and you're like, no, please! Dash 2 is a designation for 5 of Site 56 7 sectors, referred to as Dash 2A through Dash 2E. During Incident Alpha, these sectors were requisitioned by Dash 1 for apparently the purpose of securing enough space to apply its tests to anyone on site. The affected facilities exhibit reality-altering effects as well as major spatial anomalies. These effects extend as far as affected facilities appearing to contain extensive outdoor and indoor environments not previously existing within Site 56. All instances of Dash 3 will not be able to leave or be removed from Dash 2 until Dash 1's timer has expired. When Dash 1 is inactive, these facilities will revert to a neutral state similar to their state before Incident Alpha. Dash 3 is a designation for all anomalies produced by SCP-3030. These anomalies have range of properties, a sample of which can be seen in the incident logs below, the full list of which can be requested from Site Director Davids. There appears to be no specific limit to what type of anomaly an instance of Dash 3 can be. More complex or powerful anomalies do seem to take some level of strain on Dash 1, reducing the overall number of anomalies it can produce at once. Once contained to a degree of satisfaction determined by Dash 1, instances of Dash 3 will disappear through unknown means, and Dash 1 terminals will indicate that it has been contained. Once all anomalies are contained, Dash 1 will enter an inactive state and its countdown will be cancelled. So this is Telltale 2.0. It seems like that. Also a skip created SCP is cool. Yeah, it is you're right, it is an SCP that creates SCPs, you're right. And I think that's probably the reason why it's like all over why they're waiting for a pending what kind of object class it is, because it's like, well, is it safe? Is it Euclid? Is it Keter? Is it Thaumiel? It changes every time. When Dash 1's timer reaches 0, all uncontained instances of Dash 3 within Dash 2 will be transported instantaneously to Site 56 Central Plaza. At this point, instances of Dash 3 are no different than if they were real anomaly, other than they will still disappear when contained to Dash 1's expectations. In the case of Dash 3 instances that are highly dangerous Keter class anomalies, containment before the expiration of Dash 1's timer is to be established at all costs. And here we have an incident. Ooh, we love an incident, don't we? Alpha. SCP-3030 was created doing unapproved cross-testing and research into 2 previously unrelated objects. The first object, now classified as Dash 1, was a non-anomalous supercomputer designed for taking and processing data on anomalies to assist in producing viable containment strategies. Okay. The second object, hereafter referred to as Dash Gamma, was a safe class anomaly brought to the site for a short period to test and confirm properties, as similar facilities for safe class objects were over capacity. Dash Gamma was initially thought to simply be a standard classroom style blackboard that automatically produced fractal tessellation patterns when written upon. Upon further testing, it was found that Dash Gamma could reproduce these patterns with any material applied to it to a nanomolecular accuracy. At the suggestion of a junior researcher working on both projects, a number of designs for fractally tessellating circuits were drafted and produced using Dash Gamma. These circuits, when integrated into Dash 1, caused the device to exhibit minimum levels of sentience. It then output a plan to incorporate living humans into its systems. A senior researcher volunteered to undergo the procedure first. This involved inserting a number of leads into the subject's spinal column, then incising the dildo expunged. From this point, the subject effectively became a part of Dash 1's system, with a part of their own personality incorporated into its routines. So the Foundation accidentally created a multi-part anomaly by doing this little test here. Within 5 hours, all other researchers working on Dash 1 have been incorporated into its system. It has been suggested that -1 may have undocumented mind-affecting properties that contribute to this situation. But this is what I will be... Wait, this is what I will be original with. I think that SB303 is unique. Wait, mechanic, this might be your origin story. Could be, you know. So, wait. Mechanic, I'm a little bit confused what you meant with, like, I will be original, but then you said, are you trolling us? You probably are trolling us, aren't you? The next events are not quite understood at this time. Welcome to Fluff Chaos and Content. Okay, welcome. We are still in the first SCP of today. We haven't missed much, except that it's a supercomputer that absorbed the researchers. A new character. The next event are not quite understood at this time. The sector of Site 56 where these objects were being developed and researched underwent a total lockdown. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to Fluff again. Make yourself comfortable. We have potentially like a 3.5 to 4 hour read a day. That lockdown at 3 p.m. By 6 p.m. 5 out of Site 56 7 sector began to undergo anomalous effects, and over 75% of site research staff were incorporated into -1 systems. At this point, -1 entered its first active state and output 10 instances of -3, which were distributed to the newly created -2 facilities. General confusion around the situation resulted in the delay before the dispatch of MTF Psi 7 and MTF Mu 4 to attempt to contain SCP-3030. The efforts, though productive, were not quick enough to contain all anomalies before -1's timer reached 0. At this time, a state of emergency was declared, and Mobile Task Force Epsilon 11 Nine-Tailed Fox was dispatched to contain the situation as soon as possible. After 7 hours, all instances of -3 were contained and the current procedure were put into place. This looks fun and I love SB. Awesome. Welcome, welcome. So just so you know who I am, what I do, at least with SCP on the weekends, every Saturday, Sunday, I read 10 SCPs. I'm going in order of numerical order. I've been reading SCP in numerical order since 2020, and the stream is here basically to like record my my journey. And I have a YouTube channel called Dr. AfroFluff, and it uploads almost twice a day, except Thursday. It's scheduled. It's all scheduled videos. So till June of this year, there's a whole bunch of videos going to come out. I split up today's reading into, of course, individual videos. So yeah, glad you're here. And it's just gonna be me eventually, hopefully in like in 8 years, be caught up with all the SCPs, and I read them all. And yeah, enjoy the ride. So, a brief sampling of -3 instances are listed below. Okay. Description, additional notes, classification, time elapsed to containment. Here we go. A 10-meter tall beryllium bronze octahedron with extensive engravings in Brahmi script on all of its sides suspended in mid-air through unknown means. Humans within approximately 100 meters of object became psychologically unable to look away from the object or leave aforementioned distance. That's the description. Additional notes. Rough translation of script described it as an object of worship. Object contained when a temple built to specifications within the script was built around it. Appeared within a 1 kilometer square grassy field within -2A. Terminal data described object as a translation test. Classification, Euclid. And then time elapsed to containment, 30 hours, 7... That is quite a lot. Should I fetch him in the Discord? What? Who should I fetch in the Discord? 17 human children of varying estimated ages, 11 subjects were class 5 reality benders. Oh shit. Not the children are reality benders, dude. Don't do that. We only got like 2 or 3 of those. And that shit is already hard to contain enough. The other 6 were normal human children. The 11 were unable to perceive other humans above a certain age, as their abilities automatically triggered upon any person of the age of 17, removing them from existence. Oh shit. Hello, my fellow kids. Wouldn't be more fun if you reacted them in a video? Just curious. What do you mean? I mean, that would defeat the point of me reading all of them, wouldn't it? If I just reacted to somebody else. The interior of -2D was converted to that of a large school building during this test. Subjects contained using 2 Scranton reality anchors each. After initial containment, subjects would not disperse until 6 normal children were detained within standard humanoid containment cells, described as a capture and differentiation test. Euclid. Yeah, 86 hours, 54 minutes, yeah. Damn. Deleted. An extreme memetic and informational hazard. Further information deleted either by -1 or containment team is fulfill containment requirements. I mean, I've been now reading them for like the past 5 years, 9 months, so I'm not bored at all. Help, my best friend is a reality bender. That would be a Goosebumps. That would be a good Goosebumps thing. Man, I haven't read Goosebumps in fucking forever. Inoculation against stage 5, death and conversion, was provided by -1, which worked outside of -2C, but the description warned that it would not work after -1's timer reached 0. Test described by -1 as info hazard soup for the soul. Keter, 71 hours, 32 minutes. God, the fact that this supercomputer just spits out like all these anomalies and you're like, oh great. We gotta deal with that by itself, but then it's just just create something else for us to deal with. This SCP seems like something that I was just like, I just want to go home. I'm just trying to get home. The interior of SCP of -2-E appeared as a replica of Italy, including its population of 1,000 people. A major performance of SCP-701 is planned and estimated to have almost 1,000 in attendance on opening night. Described as a prevention and suppression test, entire theater troupe amnesticized as part of containment. It's unknown what would have happened had this test not been completed before the end of -1's timer. Euclid, 55 hours, 19 minutes. Extensive documentation on 10 hypothetical uncontained Keter class anomalies, none of which actually appeared within -2. Terminals requested a written answer. These were the only instances of -3 for December 2016. -1 took text descriptions of containment procedures for described objects. Terminal instructions heavily implied that any failed instances by the 3-day mark would be subject to a practical exam. Keter, 68 hours, 3 minutes. 400 Eutamia cipicus, which, okay, now you're not gonna explain what the fuck that is, so I gotta look it up. Show me Eutamia cipicus, please. Oh! Siberian chipmunk, that's cute. Look at that. Look at the little guy. How many? 400? 4. Okay, that might be a little bit much. Alvin? I don't think Alvin is a Siberian chipmunk. But it's in the same family. Imagine being a reality band, that would be awesome. There's still a new Ghostbusters book coming out. Yeah, true, he is. He's still at it, R.L. Stein, or whoever is writing them now. Which exhibited cognitive hazardous effects. Of course they do. Any person viewing them would immediately become convinced that they were a tree for up to 45 minutes at the initial exposure. The idea of looking at a chipmunk, you're just like... For 45 minutes, like you just don't move. The interior of -2C appeared as a 4-kilometer square forest for the duration of this test. A set of drones had to be designed to catch the objects before they could all be contained, as other methods proved ineffective. Yeah, of course you can't chase them. Euclid, 112. Jesus! Makes sense. There's 400 of them. And 12 minutes. One human male capable of phasing through solid matter. We talk about Kitty Pryde here. Subject exhibited signs of military and special ops training and was initially well armed and supplied. The interior of -2E was converted into that of a small industrial complex. When -1's timer ended, the subject proved well aware of what was going to happen, averting a plan to contain him and escaping Site 56 within 25 minutes. Subject described as GOI conflict test, Euclid, 140 hours, 27 minutes. They should use them in CIA raids. Better bring snacks for all of them. I see Larry in the list. Larry. Unless you mean this guy. Oh, here. No, down here. SCP-1064. Is that a footnote? It is a footnote. Yeah. Until containment, SCP-106 was confirmed missing from its containment cell. There we go. Investigation into how -1 transported SCP-106 into -2B during this incident are ongoing. Man, it's been a while. The problem was that, like, I started recording myself and making videos of SCPs at the 460 mark. Before that, I didn't. So anything below that, and even then, I didn't make them individual videos. I just upload like the whole 10 SCPs I read into one video on a different channel. So anything like below 1,300 is like a little bit hazy for me. Like, of course, there are some I fully remember. But like, thanks to the Dr. AfroFluff channel, where I actually make like thumbnails and I give them descriptions. That's when I like start to like actually keep them in mind now. So you don't know how 106 looks like. I barely remember 106. Interior. Actually, let me actually look at the title of 106 real quick. I barely remember it though. Like I said, it's been that was like 2020. That's back in the day. The old man, yes, yeah, the one that came out of the walls. Yeah. No, then I do know. Then I do know. And I also read like the story of like how like like people got like transported into his world and they've tried to escape him. Yeah, no, I do remember who Larry is now. Interior of -2B appeared as a 20-kilometer square area, one corner of which contained an extensive labyrinth. Yep. Which SCP-106 appeared in the opposite corner, containing a replica of SCP-106 current containment complex. Terminal data described object as a review test. Cater 9 hours 39 minutes. That is the shortest one that took for them to contain again. So what is 303 about? It's basically a supercomputer that has absorbed a bunch of researchers, and I think that's also the reason why it's able to spit out anomalies that are similar to ones that we know. Because it probably has the knowledge, because it does say here it absorbed at least 100. At least 100, maybe 199 researchers, and a anomalous person as well. It probably has now all the knowledge of those researchers, and now it's spitting out SCP, well, anomalies, right? It's spitting out anomalies. They also use a supercomputer to like help with classification and containment methods, but now that's biting them in the ass, because now it's just creating a whole bunch of different things, and that's probably why Larry also popped up here. So that's interesting, yeah. And not only that, but it's one of the first SCPs I ever read that has pending 05 review. Like, there's no object class, which makes sense because it ranges between all of them. It can be a safe, it can be Euclid, it can be Keller, it can be Thaumiel. It just depends on what it spits out. Select the testing logs. Inputs into -1 have been simplified for the purposes of this document. In-depth description of the inputs provided to -1 during testing can be requested from Site Director Davids by personnel with 4/303 clearance. Input. Slightly altered data on 3 safe class objects within Foundation custody. Result. -1 outputted an error explaining that input objects were unnecessarily simple. -1 also outputted documents explaining containment procedures for said objects. Input. Slightly altered data on 3 Euclid class objects within Foundation custody. Parameters referring to environmental complexity set to lowest value where possible. Result. -3 instances successfully produced within -2A through C. Each environment was a concrete 50 by 50 meter room, which the object in the center of the room. Containment established without difficulty. Input. Parameters describing SCP-058 within a 16-kilometer square forest. For this test, parameters were set to prevent the object from reappearing outside of -2 after the duration of -1's timer. Result SCP-058 successfully reproduced as an instance of -3. Personnel on site prepared for the event that said parameters were incorrect or insufficient. At the duration of its timer, the -3 instance did not reappear outside of -2. All further tests have had these parameters set to avoid containment breach. Further testing logs are available by request from Site Director Davids. Research into the possibility of using SCP-3030 as a training facility is ongoing under direct supervision of the O5 Council. And there we have it. Interesting start of today's stream. I like it though. I like it that it's its own SCP, but it is also. You call this long, Zeno? You call this long, my boy? After reading the first 10 of Series 4, this should no other SCP should be considered long. This is like an average, this is like a normal length one. Brother, you gotta work on that attention span. Alright. So, Chaos, here's what's gonna happen now. I usually, after reading one, I'm going to mute myself because I'm going to look up who the next author is. And the reason why I mute myself is because when I'm edit, I can then see where I change to the next SCP. I can then then can I cut that part out, separate them correctly, yada yada yada. So, see you in a sec.